one thing that makes your band so unique is the work y'all have done with the State Department and being musical diplomats. And how did this all come about? How'd you kind of get that rolling?
Yeah, there's a program. This is all kind of interwoven together at this point. But back when we first started doing it, I forget exactly who it was, but someone mentioned to us, "Hey, there's a program called American Music Abroad, and you guys should apply for it." And so I looked at it, and what that program is, it's a State Department funded program that is directly connected to what was they called the jazz ambassadors in the 1950s, where they sent, it was the middle of the Cold War, and we were kind of having this war without weapons with Russia. And Russia was sending orchestras and ballet groups and all these pieces of Russian culture all over the world to have influence, to have cultural influence on the world, because here we were the two superpowers, and the United States couldn't have that. They needed to have a part of that too, and so they were like, "What's the most powerful form of American culture?" And they were like, "Jazz. Like everybody in the world loves jazz," and so they sent Louis Armstrong, Dizzy Gillespie, all of the best jazz musicians all over the world. And there's a really great documentary that called The Jazz Ambassadors that PBS did that really tells the story about what a powerful program that was and why it continues to this day. This concept of cultural diplomacy, which has inspired us to move and do more of it ourselves, is really this beautiful thing where you exchange culture with other parts of the world. And yes, we get sent to various countries to play music, but it's not just playing bluegrass. We learn music from that culture and make sure that we learn something about those places even before we go there. So there really is an element of an exchange. And we've had these incredible experiences, and now in 27 countries, I think it is. And that stuff, we realized quickly that they were incredible opportunities, and that we were building this repertoire of songs in different languages. And people in the States were falling in love with these songs too, and wanted to hear them, and were excited about them. And so the first tour we did was to West Africa. We were in Congo, Liberia, Niger, and Mauritania. Four countries Americans don't get to go visit very often. And that was a powerful tour, but we didn't really learn any songs before we went that might be familiar in the region. But our next tour was to Nigeria, and we learned this song, "Chop My Money," it's called. And it's like every time we played it in Nigeria for 2 weeks, people lost their minds. And they did. As John, our bass player, likes to say, we'd be playing and everybody from toddlers to grandmothers were dancing when we played the song. It was like a cultural anthem for them, written by this duo called P Square. And we brought that song back home with us and started playing it for audiences here. And it got to the point, to this day, it's probably the most requested song we play. Something about that really struck us. Like, what an incredible opportunity to talk about these places we're going, share music from them, hopefully, bring a sense of reality to these places that people might not always get when they just hear about it in the news. And so that's why we started Bluegrass Ambassadors, which is our nonprofit. And we continue to do cultural diplomacy work abroad with it, but we also build these educational programs here back in the States that kind of use bluegrass, which is obviously this powerful American form of our personal culture in this country. We use it as an opportunity to talk about all different kinds of music from all over the place. Yeah, I'm really excited about the kind of opportunities we're getting with that. And it's not just sharing music from other parts of the world or talking about different parts of the world. We've applied what we've learned from those tours to working with kids in schools here in the States. And like, we can't go into a school that's primarily Hispanic and just play bluegrass music. So
Right.
we have to learn music that they're familiar with before they're ever going to listen to
Right.
something that we're doing. And so it's been really exciting for us to build these programs and hopefully find something that connect with kids on that they're already familiar with instead of trying to cram bluegrass down their throats, you know?
Yeah.